So current conventional wisdom for men when it comes to dating is just be the best version of yourself. Boost your sexual market value. Go to the gym, be lean, dress well, style well, have some outward signs of success, some kind of social status. Yeah, the list goes on, right? Now, I would argue this is quite misleading. And I would argue that, yeah, okay, the better looking you are, the taller you are, the more social status, blah, blah, blah you have, you'll be more attractive to women. But attraction is not really the problem. Yeah? Men and women are naturally kind of attracted to each other. Attraction's only, at that end, is only relevant in more of like a sexual market rather than a dating market. So like a nightclub or like online dating or this kind of stuff, right? And really all you're doing in that kind of environment, this kind of cold approach environment, you're just basically trading down. Yeah, that's all that happens. So if you're online and you're a 7, maybe you can bang some 2s. Right? That's probably your best bet. Right? If you're like more like a 9, yeah, you can probably bang some 5s and 6s. Yeah, and that's about what online dating is essentially. So you can put all the work you want into your life and somehow magically become a 9, but you're still not going to get much return on that. You're going to get girls that are 4 points lower than you who are mentally unhealthy, right? So it's not really much of a return. So what I'm proposing is that actually, okay, yeah, SMV matters, but without access, it doesn't mean much. Yeah, it doesn't mean much at all. Yeah, okay, if you can become an absolute 10-10 super famous kind of dude, yeah, you'll have access to fairly hot girls, that's true, fairly slutty hot girls, but again, same problem. And this is why so many celebrities get duped by chicks, right? Because they're just going for like the sexiest piece of ass that has interest in them, some random girl, and of course it doesn't work out because of the girl, the nature of the girl. Not because the guy's not good enough, anything like this, it's just the nature of the girl that they've kind of got involved with. So when I reflect on my life and my dating, sexual and relationship experiences, and those of everyone I know, I will say that access to girls, in order to become familiar with them so that they be open to you, is the most important factor when it comes to success in dating or with women, right? Because most women aren't going to go with some random guy that tries to chat them up in a cafe or something, right? Like this very rarely happens. It can happen, but it's more a reflection of the girl than it is the guy. And the vast majority of girls are simply not going to get into cold approach that much. Yeah? They're not wired to. Women are not wired for this kind of sexual encounter. They want to feel some level of trust and comfort in the vast majority of times, especially the well-adjusted, mentally healthy girls. They need to feel some level of comfort with you. Yeah, they need to feel comfortable and familiar with you. And this can't happen from a 20-minute interaction in a cafe or wherever, But if you have that familiarity, that kind of comfortable feeling just from familiarity, just working with them for a long time or being in the same class at university a few times or whatever it is that makes you kind of in their tribe, so to speak, on their side, stops you being a stranger, this will matter a lot more. So I was thinking if you could have just as an exercise, you think about this out of 10 score that everyone uses. 0 is the worst, 10 is the best. And if you could say, okay, that's your SMV, your sexual market value. But then you could also have a level of access to healthy girls, which is also 0 to 10. Yeah? And you get to allocate a total of 10 points to both columns. So conventional wisdom would say, yeah, be a 10, man, with no access. Because, the market and stuff. But the reality is there's no dating market. There's no such thing as this dating market. People go with who they know. Yeah? People go with who they know. The small number of people, handful in their class, handful at their workplace, a couple of neighbours, that's it. It's not a market. Yeah, they'll pair off probably fairly similarly, as you see through history, especially in Western countries. The man and the woman, they pair off reasonably evenly. There's not usually too much of a gap between them. Traditionally speaking, now maybe it's changed a bit, but usually that's what you'd see, right? People just kind of pair off. As soon as you just find someone that you kind of get along with that's at a similar level, you just kind of go together. That's just kind of how it works. So issue is an access. So I wouldn't want to be a 10 out of 10 and then 0 access. Again, not talking about your own life comfort, it's about dating only. dating and access to mentally healthy girls, right? I'm not talking about, you heavily, I won't say all the stuff, but you know what I mean, right? You know the signs, outward signs of a girl who's very sexually promiscuous and very sexually available, very sexually impulsive, right? We all know what this is. If you're a guy who's had any sexual experience and you pay attention, you notice these patterns, right? So I'm not talking about these girls. I'm talking about more mentally healthy girls that are a bit more sane, accountable, and reasonable, and not so impulsive, right? A bit more self-control and a bit more just normal. So in order to get these girls, you need more access. Yeah, your SMV still counts, but if I was a 6, for example, living in Australia, which is pretty much what I was, I wouldn't be worried about making myself better looking. I don't think I'm going to get much. Busting my balls to become a 6.5 with whatever fucking treatments I can have, or getting my body fat percentage down another 4% or whatever bullshit. It's just not going to make that much difference. What makes difference is access. And I can see this as a younger man in Australia. I didn't have much of a clue of what to do with girls when I was 20, 22, 24. But a lot of them liked me. And I don't think there was anything particular about me. I'm a bit chatty and a bit friendly, and that helps. But I think just having access. I look at my university days, early work days, working in like casual jobs that students have, and just infinite choice. Really infinite choice. I mean, just how many times I had girls proposition me, blah, 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 drop all these hints, just all the time. I mean, it's just, and I was just a fairly normal dude, right? Maybe a 6 on a good day, if I get a good night's sleep, right? But the access was ridiculous. Compared to now, I mean, if you're like a 9, actually let's go an 8. If you're an 8 and a guy, okay, you can go online dating, you'll probably bang some 3s and some 4s. But if you're like a dude who just rocks up to a city with no social connections, you ain't getting very far. You're not getting much past, you're not going to get a 5, maybe from street approach or something, maybe. But that's kind of it. Like, to get past that without that familiarity, it's going to be tough, man. A girl will go with a 5 that she knows rather than a 7 that she doesn't know. That's how it fucking works. If you don't believe me, just look at every relationship in the fucking world. Every relationship in the world. No, let's go this way. And I can see it from my own life. I can see girls, even the last job I had in Australia. I took some opportunities in that environment. Some I didn't. Some of the ones I didn't, fucking hell, mate. I tell you what, I'm batting out of my league, right? Quite frankly. And as someone who doesn't underestimate myself, I can honestly say I would have been batting out of my league if I'd banged those 2 particular girls who I knew were both interested in me and friends. But I decided not to, but long story, go that way. But they were in Australia, significantly younger. They were Australian as well, in Australia. Significantly younger, and pretty up the top end of the looks range. If I'm a 6, they'd be probably 7, 7.5, maybe around there. Plus, I don't know, 12 years younger, 14 years younger, something like that, right? And it's just familiarity, mate. Like, yeah, okay, you gotta be decent looking and not a fucking tosser, and have some kind of charisma, but not that much, man. Like, what do you think we're dealing with here? The average guy's not that great. The average girl's not that great. We're just humans. We're not that great. We're fucking overrated. So in summary, the whole push to looks max, this max, that max, geo max, money max, blah, 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 it doesn't mean shit in a lot of ways. I'm not saying it doesn't mean something. It means something. But the marginal benefit of this stuff is fucking minimal compared to access. Yeah? As long as you meet a minimum standard of looks and competency as a person and a bit of charisma, you know what I mean? You know how to flirt a little bit and get the job done. That's all you fucking need, mate. Honestly. And I've seen this again, my own life. Girls better than me, higher SMV than me, hitting on me because of the social circle situation. Because they're from work. Because someone else knows them. Because they're recommended. Oh, fucking recommendations are the best thing of all time. I won't give too much detail because I don't know who's watching, but a good female friend of mine in Australia who's a fucking champ, I won't say exactly how she had these other friends, but she was just setting me up with friend after friend. And some of these girls were really at the top end. And Australia has a lot of hot girls, like maybe not quite as many from Melbourne where I'm from, but certainly the further you go north, Australians have some hot girls, man. Like everyone wants to bag our girls, but I don't mind Australian girls. They're all right. Maybe we're getting a bit fucking bitchy and a bit entitled and a bit fat, but historically, I'm a fan. I rate Australian girls. I like my culture and I like the girls, generally speaking. And also, the same thing happened in Belarus. Again, I won't get too much details because I don't know who's watching and I don't want to, put people in the spotlight, but two different girls who were either married or girlfriend of men that I knew, younger men. These men are actually only in their 20s, which is interesting. But yeah, they're one wife and one girlfriend. For whatever reason, I don't know if my friends told them, hey, find a girl for Ben. Maybe the guy who was married might have done that. But the other guy who wasn't, the girlfriend just liked me, right? She's like, yeah, I'd like this guy. He's better than my boyfriend, actually. But I can't, so I like him, so I'll try and find a friend for him. And it's amazing how many girls will just meet you. Seriously attractive young women will meet you based on recommendations. Just direct recommendations. Don't even have to meet. Just here's the number, message them, and then meet them. Or maybe meet them. Most of them, if we'll still at the university, I might meet them for like 10 minutes or 20 minutes, all of us together, and then can potentially just meet them alone, right? If I had to, again, playing this game of 10, I would rather be a 5 SMV with a 5 access than a 10 SMV with a 0 access. You're going to do a lot better for yourself. You're going to find a lot more mentally healthy girls. Now, I hope this is useful, and I hope that it resonates a bit with you as well. I'm sure it will. A lot of you. I'm sweating off my sunscreen here, excuse me. I'd really love to hear your thoughts, because I think that the whole industry of dating and picking up girls and this kind of industry, it really didn't tell us much about the kind of girls that you're going to get from a bar, the kind of girls that you're going to meet in the shopping centre, the kind of girls that are open to fast sex online, blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, there is a massive negative screen for girls that are open to cold approach. This is a really key point to understand. Yeah, if the girl is really open to cold approach, it's a terrible screen for her character. It just is, sorry. But if you're an experienced guy and you're not a white knight fucking idiot pretending whatever, or had one experience once, if you're an experienced guy, right, across countries, across ages, across whatever situations, then you know what I'm saying is true. Right? Because everyone I know who is really experienced and older and has seen the world and whatever has come to the same conclusion. Yeah, come to the same conclusion. So at the end of the day, to get a normal girl who's okay in the head, who's not like crazy impulsive and whatever, it's access, dude. It's access. It's not SMV, it's access. Sorry, just to reiterate the core point that I might not have gotten across. You can be the same guy with the same girl, right? And if you meet her in a cold approach situation, whether it's online or in a bar or just anywhere around town, you meet in this situation, and the chance of her being interested is extremely low. Yeah, she might be friendly, she might chat to you, but to have instant kind of romantic interest in you, the chance of it's quite low, right? Again, it's a biological thing, not to stray out of what's safe and secure. But if you then meet her that night at a party with close friends, you don't even have to barely know anyone, actually. It doesn't have to be close at all. Just in the same apartment with 12 people, right? And you just know someone there vaguely. It doesn't even have to be that well. Yeah? She'll suddenly switch over and she'll be the one hitting on you. Yeah? This is kind of how it works. So that's the point I'm trying to get across, is that it's all related to if a girl is familiar and have you crossed that line of being in her circle. And again, it doesn't have to be almost anything. It can be barely even knowing her. Yeah, barely even knowing someone who barely even knows her. Right? As long as it puts you in the same social situation, then you're in the group, right? That's kind of how it works mentally for a girl. This is just what I've seen. So that's kind of, I guess, the core point I'm trying to get across. Whereas for a guy, we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck if we've never met you. If no one that we've ever met will ever meet anyone that you fucking know. You know what I mean? Like, we couldn't give a fuck. And that's why you have something like online dating being so male heavy. There's about 3.8 men to every one woman online, right? And that's just because men are just trying to spread their seeds everywhere. That's how we are with anyone, right? That's why you get so many guys online stooping, going for those low-hanging fruit. Whereas the girls on there will generally be mentally unhealthy or just like, some decent quality girls can go online, but they don't last very long, you know? They have a week of this weird dynamics and they usually jump out pretty quickly. This is what I've observed from fairly mentally healthy girls that I've seen that have gone online. They don't last very long on there. The dynamics are cooked and they see that and they just kind of eject, you know? So the whole dynamic of who's open to strangers and who's not, they're like opposites. You know what I mean? Guys are like, can I just get any fucking womb from any tribe? Can I just reproduce? You know what I mean? It's just our instinct to spread the seeds, whereas girls need that. It's that little bit of security, whether it's biological or sociological, I don't know exactly, maybe a bit of both, but they definitely need to have that kind of connection to you, and that changes the game entirely. So it's not about, again, market, it's not about value, so to speak, necessarily. It's primarily about access, I would argue, as long as you fit a minimum standard for everything else.